Good morning and welcome to Bali. I cannot believe that I'm back. It's so awesome here. I apologize if I keep moving because the sun, you would think, would be in one place, but it keeps moving and it's making me squint. So I'm just gonna slide around here. Okay, that's better. So here I am back in Bali and I want to talk to you today about marriage, of all things. So a few things have happened this week to inspire me to talk about marriage, and one of those things is being in India. So in India, and similarly in Bali, one of the first questions that people ask you is, are you married? And I dutifully say no, not yet. And then the next question is, how old are you? So 33, and the shock and disbelief and disappointment that I've managed to get myself to 33 and not be married is, it's a little bit actually funny now these days, especially in India when, you know, you definitely should be off the shelf by 33. And I was having dinner with a beautiful bunch of Indian women in Rocky. A friend of mine, Anu, took me over to her friend's house, and they, you know, made a feast in my honor, and we had a dance, and we were talking about arranged marriage in India and how the majority of marriages in India are in fact arranged. So the parents either seek out a partner for you, or if you manage to find a partner of your own, then he or she needs to be firmly approved by both families. Otherwise it just doesn't go ahead. And a lot of the time, if there isn't that blessing from the families, then an Indian couple will very rarely go against that and continue to get married. So the majority of weddings are arranged, and then they have love marriages as an alternative concept, which of course where I'm from is the only type of marriage. So the love marriages are increasing, and I met with a man whose sister was having a love marriage, and the rest of the family, I think there was 6 brothers, had not had love marriage, they'd had arranged marriages. So it was quite a new thing for that family unit. And I said to him, you know, is that something that your family approve of? And because they were from the same caste, and the daughter was of a certain age, they were just happy for her to be married. So it was quite an interesting concept for me, because every time I go to India, I get offered a husband. So when I was in Punjab earlier in the year, and my host discovered that I was unmarried, he said, oh, we can get you on matrimonial.com, which is a website where you list your credentials as a wife, and somebody either picks you up for a wedding, or they don't. And this time was no different. A friend of mine in Delhi, we met her cousin, and the family have all decided that it would be appropriate for us to marry. And obviously that was in jest, but I think if I said, yeah, great, let's do it, then that would probably occur. So another thing yesterday was April Fools, and marriage was on my brain, having been to a Balinese wedding as well this week. So I popped on Facebook a photo of me with a engagement ring on to fool my friends and families into thinking that I'd got engaged. And it was interesting, you know, people were liking it, people were, you know, commenting, and it's this, you know, this religious ceremony that is so prominent in all religions. You know, everybody has that unity of marriage, no matter what faith you follow, it's there, and it's a big fanfare, and it's a big ritual, and it is something that people want to do before their friends, before their family, and before God. Sorry, the sun is bright and beautiful, but killing my eyes. I'm just going to try and go into the shade over here. Funnily enough, I am stood in front of a chapel at the Harris Hotel because I'm about to go into church. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, so I was interested in attending a Hindu wedding in India, and I didn't have the time to do it when I was there in January, and March is not wedding season. So when I was cruising down the streets of Canggu a couple of days ago and I saw a Balinese wedding being set up, I stopped, I pulled over, I said g'day to the uncle of the bride, Johnny, who was very kind to me, and said, do you reckon I could have a quick look? So he said, yep, no worries, come back at midday. So Mia, my little girlfriend, and I went and got changed into our traditional get-up and headed down to this wedding in Canggu. And the Balinese, their ceremonies are so beautiful. So there's 4 sort of stages that happen within a Balinese wedding. First of all, you know, the proposal or engagement. The bride's family has a visit from the groom's family to ask for the intention of marrying the daughter, right? And the groom's family often offers gifts to the bride's family, which Balinese are Hindus, and in India they're also a large majority of Hindus, yet the dowry system in India is that the bride's family pay certain amounts, thousands in some cases, hundreds of thousands in other cases, of rupee to the groom's family. So I thought that was quite interesting, that it's a similar tradition or the same religious beginnings, but culturally the country has sort of taken over and changed how that unfolds. So once the proposal and the blessing of the families has come together, then there's a ceremony, sort of purification, where before the spirits, like before God, before the beings of the underworld, and before the friends and family, a ceremony takes place. And that's what we were at a couple of days ago. So you walk in and they have a Gamelan, which is like a traditional Balinese band, playing beautiful songs. And I don't know the specific reason for that. I felt like it was to keep us entertained, where they had the dancing going on, the traditional dance, the traditional music for the guests, while in the other part of the house, the bride and groom were going through a purification ceremony with blessings from the high priestess. In this case it was a woman, a high priestess. The Pemanku was there. There was a duck that stayed alive. No ducks were harmed in the filming of this movie. Yeah, that was offered to the family temple. The clothing was absolutely beautiful, all gold and red and heavily made up, the man and the woman, headdress. And then there was these like 8 or 9 women off to the side just chanting for the whole time, basically. And I don't know what they were saying, if it was Sanskrit or Balinese or Bahasa, but it was very melodic and very beautiful. And it was similar to a lot of other Balinese ceremonies that I've been to. You know, there's loads of food, there's loads of music, loads of laughter, loads of holy water. There's always some sort of, chicken or, pig or, in this case, a duck being offered for a variety of different reasons. And it's really interesting, but quite difficult to research, because different regions have different traditions and different ways of doing it. And when I've questioned my Bali mates about it and said, right, run me through what happens at a Bali wedding, I keep getting different answers. So I guess it's the same as any wedding. There's an order of things, but also, everybody's preferences come into it as well. I think a Catholic wedding in the Philippines may be different to a Catholic wedding in Australia or Peru. I'll find out. I'll try and gate crash some more weddings. But yeah, it was really interesting to me. This marriage is so important in every society, and it's held in high regard in India as like a status. You should be married by a certain age. Like that's just non-negotiable. Like you just definitely should be married. And in Bali, it's also like a spiritual milestone. So when you become husband and wife, then you're fully accepted into the roles and responsibilities and privileges of your local banja, of you know, your local temple. It's got all of these deeper meanings. So yeah, I was just interested in that this week and thought I would chat to you about that, since I'm hounded on a daily basis if I'm married or not. Sometimes I start a story, yeah, I'm married. Oh, for how long? Oh, 3 years. Oh, you got any kids? Yeah, 3. Boy, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy. Had twins a couple of times. But yeah, I just, I'd be interested to know your thoughts on marriage and, you know, what's your culture of marriage? Is there arranged marriage where you're from? Is love marriage is what everybody does? Is there a big ceremony, a big hoo-ha? Or is it more subdued and just local family? It'd be really interesting to know, because I think what I'm trying to achieve while I'm traveling around is to get to as many weddings as possible. Weddings, funerals, christenings, that's what I'm interested in. To see how these faith is existing in today's society from, you know, young and old. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna disappear. I'm here with little Mia.
Hello.
We're at ICC Bali, ready to pump out some worship music to the big JC. So have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, and God bless. Over and out.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Okay.